Did you hear that little dink there, Sam Fricky?
I did. I heard that little dink. Sounded like something you get at the ear doctor.
Do you know what that dink means?
We're live, and we're doing Raw Talks.
Yeah, we are live right now, and that's a big problem.
Why?
Because I had it at the just a second screen for like 15 fucking minutes. So yeah. I think everyone in the chat is pissed off now.
Oh, who cares?
Yeah, fuck them, right?
Dude, no. Like 30% of them will be spamming. Like we'll be spamming by what time is it? By 11:45.
Now we got some great Dan-ins here. We got Steve Schneider, we got Coulter, we got Captain McKay, we got Jazz. You know what I'm saying? We got all these motherfuckers is here.
Folkelsen's here.
Folkelsen is in the building. So Dan-Dan's right off the bat, if you want to tweet out the link for the show, we'll really get the chat going. We're going to have a good time here. Because you want to know why the artist formerly known as Mike Charles is missing in action. I hate to report, but he was killed. There was a problem last night where I realized that the only thing holding the artist's pants together was old poop and like weird jizz marks. And so I said, this is really going to be a problem. And he got on a skateboard, and I said, that's not a good idea. So he falls off a skateboard, and he ends up breaking his neck in a cum accident. It was a whole thing. I don't want to get into it right now, but Sam Fricky is here, so he's in the building.
The not Sheamus of the Dan-Dans. Fuck you, Mike Charles.
So yeah, you saw a couple weeks ago the artist. He had a weird birthmark on his stomach, and a lot of people were saying, "Oh, that it looked like it said fuck Sam Fricky." I don't know. I'm not sure what it said. I'm not sure what they're talking about, but I heard you weren't very happy about it.
No, I was disappointed in the artist, to be honest.
Do you have anything to say to him?
I always thought that a man wouldn't stick attack someone like that verbally with a Sharpie underneath that flap of fat that you call your nipple. Well, I'll get him back. I don't know. I just don't know how to do it yet. We'll see.
I'm intrigued to see what you're going to come up with. And you mentioned there that he had Sharpie on his stomach. I'm not sure if that was the case. There was a lot of people who seemed to feel that way, but I don't know. I don't really know what to say about it. I can't comment on the rumors and speculation of the artist's belly.
We'll leave it like that. I just guarantee you at the end of it, he'll be lying in a pool of his own vomit, urine, and blood.
See, now this is especially heavy because you guys you were going to be some sort of bloated tag team.
We had an episode on the podcast. It was the second time I was on. The artist and I talked about our pensions for potentially getting bloated at times. So we connected there.
Yeah.
I thought we were joined by the bloat per se.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden he gets a big dick and decides not to go through with it.
See, now, if there's anything that the internet has taught us, it's not to get a big dick.
Don't get a big dick.
That's a throwback, dude. Does anyone even remember Tourette's guy anymore?
No.
You don't think so?
I'm not even looking at the chat.
Yo, should I get a tattoo that says brown gloves?
No.
I don't think it would be a bad idea.
Wait, are you just gonna tattoo your hands brown?
No. That's a fucking clever response, though. No, what I was thinking, I would get a tattoo that just says brown gloves.
Oh, after the intro? I don't know, man. Like, you know my feelings about this.
Yeah, you're not a tattoo boy.
I'm not a tattoo boy, and I was giving you shit about getting that Mercury tattoo, and I'm still going to give you shit about it.
We're going to talk about the Joey Mercury tattoo later. Right now, for the uninitiated Dan Ants, this is WWE Raw Talks Live. What we do on the show is right after WWE Raw ends, we come here, which is youtube.com/616entertainment. We talk about Raw segment by segment, match by match. We review it. We give our opinions, you know what I'm saying? We talk a bunch of shit. And there's always that lump in the beginning of the show where we talk about literally nothing. That's to let everyone catch up to get here. Because when Raw ends, you got to get something to drink. You got to take a piss. If you're Gene Ambrose, you got to get your water bottle and get your hair all wet. You know, I'm not going to tell you what to do.
He kept his hair wet all night.
He's going to get sick. He's going to be a sick boy for Money in the Bank.
Especially with all that drinking, too. Popcorn.
It's a problem. So Here we go. It's time for the official intro. Sam Fricky, are you ready?
I'm born ready.
Hey, Mike, make sure everyone has brown gloves. Does everyone have brown gloves? Dude.
Oh, man. That's my favorite part of the show every week.
I'm not a fan of brown gloves. I still have no idea what it's from or what it is.
It's from American Movie.
What's American Movie?
American Movie is one of the greatest films of all time. It's a documentary about a filmmaker named Mark Borchardt and his friend Mike Shank. Mark Borchardt has been making films since he was a young boy, before he was even a teenager. And it's his passion, and his main goal in life is to not be a loser. He wants to make films. He wants to make it big. He drives around neighborhoods and just looks at houses because he thinks, that's my dream. I want to make the ultimate American movie, and I want to achieve the American dream. And it's so fucking good.
Is it funny or?
Yeah, but it's real because it's a documentary. So you'll watch it and you're gonna think there's no fucking way this is real, and it's 100% real.
I'm gonna ask the obligatory question. Is it on Netflix?
No, it's actually, the DVD is out of print, so it can be really hard to come by.
Well, thanks for that's one of the worst plot teases of all time.
Captain McKay Random says the artist has heat with Sam and Coulter Douglas. Insane. And yes, I remember the Tourette's guy. You're grounded because you don't think the garbage disposal sounds like Chewbacca taking a shit.
Dude, my favorite line has always been, now that I think about it, is I'll shove a can of Pringles up that preacher's ass. I'd be happy to tell him about it.
You want to hear something amazing is when we were doing, and I swear we're going to get into Raw right after this.
Yeah.
One night we were doing inventory at my work, which means we went through 30,000 DVDs and we took them out of the cases, then we put them back in the cases because the whole thing was ridiculous. And we were playing music all night, and after hours of doing this monotonous job, you start to lose your mind. So someone put on the Star Wars soundtrack, and then someone else on the same computer put on a Tourette's guy compilation. So just imagine the Darth Vader theme and Tourette's guy at the same time, and it was so fucking funny. It might have been that we were all just delirious from being up all night, but it was one of the funniest fucking things I've ever heard in my life.
Dude, and I'm seeing Folkland in the chat making out the Twitter quote.
Okay, let's talk about Raw. How'd we open?
Right. Let's dig right into it. So here's my thing. At least it wasn't the Authority. You knew it was going to be a promo. Everyone knew it was going to be a promo.
John Cena comes out and you think like, oh, open. Yeah, definitely.
But here's at least it wasn't the Authority. At least it starts with Super Cena, and then we get Owens on the mic, which is always entertaining.
Yeah. So you're still calling him Super Cena, even though he just lost to an indie darling clean on a pay-per-view. Yep,
because I'm going to be a bandwagon Kevin's Owen mark and just...
Kevin's Owen.
His close.
Okay. I didn't know if you were still hanging on to that idea that Cena...
Oh, no. I love Cena. Cena's one of my favorite guys in the business right now. Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I took away from this promo is Cena was being fucking aggressive.
I agree to a point at the end of it he was. I wrote down... that I dug Cena's ending acknowledgement, how he was saying he was the standard bearer and the face of the franchise. Mm-hmm. And 3 years ago or 4 years ago, whatever, he had a little hissy fit and punched CM Punk in the face when Punk brought it up. So I thought it was a good kind of realization for him over the course of the past couple of years that this is who he is. And then having Owen there, someone's gonna threaten it. I think it's pretty good for Cena. I'm really digging the feud so far.
Captain McKay is making fun of you saying Kevin's Owen, and he says you're a regular.
Did I say Kevin's Owen?
You did earlier. And he said you're a regular Pat Patterson.
What is a regular Pat Patterson?
Pat Patterson always fucks up his plurals. So the famous one, and Punk says it all the time, he adopted it from him, is he says the people will go banana. That's a French-Canadian thing. So Owens comes out and interrupts towards the end of John Cena's promo. And I love the way Owens handled it. He was just like, you really think people want to watch you open Raw and defend your title? I think they're tired of it. It's been 10 years of this. So how about we have an NXT title open? And Cena's like, that's fantastic. I accept. And Owens goes nah, not against you.
Dude, he's such a good, I think he's such a good heel.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I'm sounding like a mark, but he's really working right now. I think he might be the best heel that they have. I don't know. I mean, Rollins is up there, but it could be Owens. You can make the argument for it.
I think you can. What's the word I'm looking for? I think you can compliment a wrestler without having to worry about sounding like a mark.
Well, I mean, I just want to make sure I wasn't burying him.
No. Oh yeah, because if you're not a mark, you're burying the guy in this day and age.
I mean, going back to the opener, I mean, everyone had a call of Neville coming out?
I wasn't sure what it was going to be because I know on that house show from Japan that they're going to air, it's going to be Owens versus Balor. So I thought maybe Balor would come out now and win it because Owens is going to stay on the roster. So I thought maybe Balor would just win it now, so then Owens doesn't have to worry about how he's going to get rid of the title down the line.
They'll probably have Balor win in Japan.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? That would definitely be the place to do it, seeing as though his fucking roots in Japan. That place would go.
And I think this is the time he'll break out. Well, I mean, we're going to just start going off into an NXT tangent, but we can talk about that later. No, Balor
I think that place would go.
It'll be a good match, too. They'll only give him like 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. Back to Raw. So Neville coming out. Did you notice his like little shirt dress that he had going on?
No.
When he walked out, he had his shirt like tucked into his patent trousers or whatever, and had this little kilt going on while he was walking down. It's one of the weirdest looking things I've ever seen. Actually, noted it down.
I noticed his gear was different tonight, but I couldn't pinpoint what was different about it. And Steve just said in the chat, my prediction is Balor winning when they're in Japan. Fuck! Now I seem like a copycat.
No, don't worry about it. He said it after you. He said it after me.
Yeah.
Wilkinson's a copycat.
No. He says, fuck, now I look like a copycat.
Oh.
What I love about this is Neville comes out and before he can say anything, he's standing in front of Owens and Cena. And Owens, I don't know if everybody caught this, but he started to like slink to the side because he didn't want to be in front of Neville because he thought maybe if Neville is looking at Cena, he'll just go with Cena. Because like even though he is a heel, but he's down to fight, he was still like, fuck, I kind of don't want to face this guy right now.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, Neville, has he ever beat Owens? So I know Owens beat him in the tournament match.
No, I don't think Neville has, no.
Okay, and then he had a good match with Cena, so I don't know. What do you think about the match itself? Like, I mean, I think it's a good opener. WWE's had a good streak, and not a streak, maybe, but like a good recent history of starting off with a pretty solid opener, so I wasn't surprised this was the one that they went with.
Yeah.
But Owens' moveset continues to impress me.
Oh, big time.
I think like every time he wrestles, you know he's going to finish with a pop-up, but like everything in between is different every time, which is great.
That's the thing that I kind of want them to change about Owens is he's got so many of these good moves he did that like fisherman like suplex thing where he went forward off the second rope at the pay-per-view. He did like a fisherman turning shoulder breaker tonight. And I would love it if he would get some wins with some of these moves, just like kind of the way they were handling Paige when Paige first came over, that she had her finisher, which was the what the hell was that move? It was like a submission move. But then she was beating people with that fisherman DDT. She was beating people with the Paige Turner move. She had like 5 different finishers, and I wish they would do that with Owens because he's got such a fucking versatile moveset. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree. I completely agree. I know they're not going to let him use the pile driver.
Yeah, they teased it at the pay-per-view, but it's clearly not going to happen.
But like, if they let him just like beat down an opponent, he shouldn't have to win with a power bomb. Like, I'm completely agreeing with you here. He should be able to win off of like some like spin out backbreaker or something like that. Something that he could pull out at a match in RW or ROH.
The thing with the pop-up powerbomb is when he first did it to Cena on Raw, Cena's head bashed the fucking mat, which looked great, but it's also really dangerous. And then at the pay-per-view, he hit Cena with 2 pop-up powerbombs, and Cena patted the shit out of them with his elbows and forearms. So that the move did not look good.
Well, I thought tonight
Neville, he took it like he got fucked up, and it's dangerous, but it looked great.
No, I agree. It made the finish for me a lot better. They had me for a second on the false one. I thought what was going to happen is on the first red arrow, like Neville's going to miss and like crash, then Owens will just do the pop up. But I thought that's what they were going to do the first time. Then they had him roll through and hit the super kick. Then they ended up doubling back after that. But I like the finish too. It was pretty. I mean, you knew Owens was going to win, and he looked strong in the entire match.
Yeah.
But I think they did a good job, or a relatively good job, of keeping Neville relevant in it, which is huge because he's going right into the Money in the Bank match on Sunday, so he needs to look kind of strong to justify himself going in there.
I've got the feed up on the other side of my screen here, and I think we just went out for a second, but it looks like we're back now. So hopefully the chat didn't miss anything too important there. Steve had a really good comment here. He says, I feel like every one of a wrestler's trademark moves should finish a match at least once. This makes each move more impactful and gives the wrestlers a legit reason to keep using that move. I do like that logic, but to me, that's kind of the Jim Ross logic, where Jim Ross and Stone Cold have both been on their podcast lately talking about high-impact moves not finishing matches in wrestling these days. And they're talking about it hurting the legitimacy of the sport and how, like, oh, if he landed on his head and that didn't finish him, why should a zigzag finish him later? And that's not how I watch wrestling at all. And JR says, like, oh, bullshit, the business has passed me by. It's just there's no logic there. I don't watch wrestling for fucking logic. I don't watch Terminator for logic. I don't watch any fantasy bullshit for logic. And the wrestling is fantasy bullshit. So if you want to do a 450 and get a 2 count, and then you do like a sidewalk slam and get a 3 count because the sidewalk slam is your finisher, I get it. You know what I mean?
So, I agree. And then Heyman said something on it last week on his podcast with Austin Night Lights.
Yeah.
He's talking about the headlock example with Mark Henry. If you get guys who are going to sell the move, guys who are going to put over the move, the crowd's going to get into it. It's going to be legitimate. You can build it up. He's using the headlock example with Henry. He's like, hey, if you have Mark Henry come out and make whomever tap out to a headlock and just have him pass out or whatever, continue to build that every single week and have pay-per-views and nobody can break out of the lock. Then at Mania, have some guy break out of it.
Yeah, you
can diversify someone's finisher. They don't need to win the same thing every single time.
I agree.
It just needs a wrestler who's going to put over the move or the other move, whatever it's going to be.
And there was one of the other things that I remember, like back in the day, a dude would win a match with a fucking belly-to-belly suplex just because they were tired and he hit this move and he got the pin, and it would be like 1, 2, 3, and then the guy would kick out, but it was too late. He was down for 3.
Yeah, I hate that finish. That pisses me off more than anything.
I think it's kind of cool because it's just like he was like, usually it's just like, oh, he was this close to beating him. But in this situation, it was like, oh, he was this close to not losing, but he fucking lost. He got pinned. I'm looking at the chat again, and I can't tell if stuff is fucked up.
Dude, the last thing I see is the word "same" by Douglas.
I'm talking about the feed. No, it looks like
the feed is paused. The feed is like buffering.
We're having technical difficulties tonight, or maybe I just am. I don't fucking know. But we've been talking about this opening segment for 15 minutes.
Well, it's probably the best thing on the show, so we might as well spend more time on that.
The way I see the Neville talking about you don't deserve the NXT title. I'm a former NXT champion, and John, you know what I came here to do. I'm going to get that NXT title back. Anyone, for any reason, choosing the NXT title over the U.S. title makes that NXT title look so fucking important.
No, I agree. No, I completely agree. The fact that it's defended
the feed is fucked
on a main show, and probably the most, especially in Raw, the most important actual wrestling match of the night, puts it over fucking tenfold than some have been on. I mean, the takeover matches will be great, but the exposure it got tonight and like the importance behind it was perfect.
Yeah. It looks like the feed went out. Let's kill it and come back.
What are we doing?
I'm gonna kill the show and then you'll be with me